Hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here. I'm Chad Anderson. This is the one and only Jill Heffernan, Keller Williams of Madison. And Jill, it's a weird market, and you keep defying the market because you're having such a good year. So congrats to you and Britt and the team. How have you guys been doing it?
We have been staying really busy. We're
Yeah.
busy listing new homes. We're busy negotiating contracts and bringing on new buyers. So, you really kind of have to have a fully rounded business.
Yeah.
You have to have buyer business, listing business, and all those things to complete your year. But yes, we've had a great summer.
Yeah, Jill's great. Don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
You got, like you said, the listings.
Mhm.
You've also got the buyers. You do
Yes.
great with relocations as
Yes,
well.
we do.
So let's talk about that. So Jill's here to help answer some of the questions, bring some realities to the channel about what's going on, what realtors are dealing with, what consumers are seeing, buyers, sellers, what loan officers are dealing with.
Right.
Let's just start out with the buyers and the sellers. Two different brains.
Yes.
It's a tug of war
It is.
right now, trying to keep realities in check.
Yes.
Hey, there's not as much equity as a few years ago,
Mhm.
but it's also not the crash of 2008.
Correct.
So what are the biggest pain points, or I guess, I don't know, rebuttals or things that buyers and sellers are getting frustrated with right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the buyers know that it's a buyer's market. So, they're ready to wheel and deal on those contracts. They're ready to ask for closing costs, money off price if it's not priced correctly. Agent will go in historically, look at all the numbers for the CMA and things like that. So, we're ready to negotiate when it comes to buyers. They want a lot, and that's fine. They have a lot of choices. And so I think people need to understand that with choices becomes the ability for them to be very selective as
Right.
to what they're looking at and what they're going to offer on. And then, yes, the disconnect that we're having is our sellers are just starting to become aware that it is a buyer's market, that we're not in that seller's market like we were before. And so we're coaching our sellers, letting them know that we're really in the middle of a beauty contest. The home has to look great. It has to have a great floor plan. It has to smell great, look great, have all the things in there. Have updates and renovations if those are necessary. And they just have to be ready to negotiate on their price and closing costs. In most cases, each house, of course, is unique and different, and we take each one situationally. But it is a bit of a disconnect. When I'm going on my listing appointments now, I'm actually spending about the first 30 minutes talking about what the market is like, even talking about requests for repairs and what to expect on that, because that's a completely different topic. And so I'm really coaching them right now.
Right. You have to.
A lot of education, a lot of coaching, and that goes along with buyers too. The buyer journey is that of education, and it is. I just talked to a buyer just a few minutes ago from my home office, and letting them know, what to expect, what to expect from our team, what to expect from the market, the educational process, and that includes, working with a loan officer as well, and understanding their numbers, understanding their payments, and things like that, interest rates. So it's a lot to unpack.
Sure, yeah. And there's a lot of reluctance to reality
Yes.
on both sides right now.
Yes, definitely. Buyers wish that our interest rates were lower. That may be a possibility towards the end of the year. We don't know. We've been told that before, so we can't really hold our breath on that. We need to move forward. It's actually a wonderful time for a buyer to buy. They're going to get a great deal in this market. And so we are encouraging buyers to buy, not to rent. We did lose a couple of clients recently to rentals, as you know.
Yep.
And really, they made the wrong decision when they made that decision, because right now, as a buyer, it's a great time to buy. The rates may not be quite low enough, but you can refinance those rates. But you're going to get a great price on the home and closing costs and things like that.
Yeah. We've had it where buyers are legitimately getting 5 and 6% towards closing costs, which can help make the payment more affordable during a temporary time. So a lot that goes into it, but yeah, there are ways to at least not feel all the pain right now while you wait, but the deals could be gone if things turn. And that's the scary part.
Right, absolutely. And that's why, we are encouraging buyers, please, stay in this market, work with us and, we'll find you the right home for you. And if one home isn't right, that contract doesn't work, we'll write up another one. So it's a lot of education on both sides, but that will end up working out just fine.
All right, so we addressed the realities, the
Right.
buyers and the sellers. In your opinion, is interest rates or are interest rates the only thing that'll really move the needle at this point? Is that what all of this hinges on, or is there even like a subcategory maybe?
I don't think it's the only thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Elephant in the room.
the affordability is really, what people want. But when people come to buy here in North Alabama, they're doing that for that reason: the affordability of our homes, affordability of property taxes, and so on and so forth. So I don't think that the interest rate is the only thing impacting our clients, but it's definitely a big thing. I think, one person told me here, our OP of our market center, actually from Chattanooga, she said, Jill, she said, people in Huntsville tend to be a little bit more conservative than where I'm from. And that can be, sure, we've got a lot of very educated people here, so they might be a little bit more conservative when it comes to buying a home and when they choose to buy. But they also are, I think, just diligent about being educated about the market, and that's very important as well.
For sure. People who move here,
Mhm.
like we talked about, you get a lot of relocation business.
We do.
As well. So you're meeting people who are calling North Alabama home, maybe
Yes.
for the first time in
Absolutely.
their lives, and they're coming from areas where California, New York, Illinois, Virginia, wherever it is, all
Mhm.
over the map. When those people come in, what are they saying about their current market where
Mhm.
they're leaving?
Yes.
Because sometimes they have a home that they have to sell.
They always do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what are they saying about that market, and what's their reaction to
Our
Huntsville
market.
and the Huntsville expectations?
Yeah, so it works out really well when they come here, actually, because typically they're from a housing market that is actually a little bit healthier than ours. And
Wow.
so their homes have already sold just in a few days or
Wow.
a week or whatnot. So they don't usually board a plane until they've got their home under contract. And then they come here and we can just write it subject to the closing of their home. But they're very pleasantly surprised at our prices here, not just with home prices, but property taxes. And also, I don't know if you know as much, but we're even getting people, because Huntsville has had so much of a write-up about our area.
Yeah.
In so many different, magazines and online and news and all of that. They're actually just coming here for a better place to live.
Yeah.
Higher quality place to live. And so we are starting to get clients here now that are not necessarily moving here for a job, which that's new, right? So I've been here 25 years, and typically it's always, where will you be working when you're here? And now every once in a while they're just here for retirement.
Yeah.
But the going back to, where are they from and coming here, they typically have already got a contract on their home by the time they come here. So they're really ready to go ahead and write. And they love the fact that our homes are less expensive. Yeah. In fact, one of our clients moved here from Idaho, shockingly, and he said the home that he had bought would have been 3 or 4 times more expensive in Idaho. And so we asked him, why did you move here? And he's like, for a house. Yeah. He actually moved here for a home, which is not always typical. Usually is job related or retirement related. But it's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise your family.
Right.
A lot of things are different here in Huntsville than they are in larger cities. We are a very growing city, but we kind of still have a little bit of a small town feel to that, and people really love that.
Yeah, and Huntsville, in recent years ranked number 1, number 2 places to live.
Yes.
The state of Alabama in general is very cheap cost of living compared to many states where people are moving in from.
Yes.
Property taxes, income tax, just simply the cost of gasoline, things like that.
Cost of a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
Right.
Gallon of milk. Yeah. Your DMV.
Yes.
Versus other places.
Yes. Everything. The whole picture. North Alabama is very affordable. to most everyone, that comes to visit, and they always come to buy. They're here for a long weekend, and they're here to buy, and then they'll fly home, and then we finish out the entire sales contract for them. And sometimes they're surprised that we have such full service, but we do.
Yeah.
And we're used to that. And I think that's also really helps our clients experience and such.
Differentiator, though.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. Let's go back to rates for a second.
Sure.
So do you think that buyers, and this is my job, I do most of this educating,
Yes.
but just buyers in general, when they come to you first, because a lot of times the agent's the first person to talk
Yes.
to them. When that happens, do you ever get a sense of where, if or if not, buyers have a true awareness of the dollars and cents
Right.
that go into mortgages? And the reason I say it is we get calls all the time where somebody says, I want a $400,000 house,
Mhm.
but then they want it for a $2,000 payment.
Right.
And that's more 5 years ago
Right.
than it is today. So just curious, like, society gets so brainwashed
Mhm.
towards what's the rate, what's the rate, what's the rate.
Right.
Do they really understand dollars and cents,
Right.
the way that they should?
So not always, and we're aware of that. So we're able to pick up on that really quickly. We use an app from our closing attorney, and that particular app is fabulous for us. I mean, of course, we use your knowledge and what you have told them
Sure.
as well. And of course, yes, the education can start with you and then continues on with us probably. So we're very quick to let them see what's in the app, what their payments are, what their escrow amounts are, and at different price points. So they are aware that before we start taking them out to shop, they know exactly what their payments will be so that they are comfortable.
Yeah.
Because that's so important.
It is. So many times people, they get their heart set on something
Mhm.
and then realize it's 30% over budget.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then-
I was just talking to a buyer before this, and she said, I want my payment to be at $2,000 a month. And I've realized through, like you just said, doing an offer with another agent that payment was not going to be there at that particular price point. So now she's dialed back the price point a bit. So it's just an education process. And I think it just takes a little while to work with them.
It does.
Mhm.
It does. So looking at, again, buyers and sellers, what do you see, just sellers only right now? The biggest difference between homes that are selling and homes that aren't selling?
Yes.
One or two things.
I can definitely
probably
tell
have-
you that.
Yeah, you probably
I have probably a little bit of a list, but I think that if you're a seller and you have something very special to your property, you have a view of a lake, or even a view of a pond. We just sold a house that has a view of the pond. It sold to the first person that saw it.
Mhm.
Because it was a special property. It had something unique that the other properties don't. We also recently this year sold a property on acreage that was really flat smack in the middle of Madison, and yet it was surrounded by about 6 acres. That property had a laundry list of backups, backup clients that wanted that particular property. And again, it's because they had something unique and special to it that you couldn't find anywhere else. So yes, that is very important if you have that. But if you don't, I think the other thing next to talk about is that I wish I had, a book, or, maybe this podcast will get the word out that, please, homeowners, update your properties little bit by little bit while you live there, so you can enjoy those upgrades. And then when you get ready to sell, you're not pouring in, 20, 40, 60, $80,000 into a property to just sell it, but to do it while you're living there, and so you can truly enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be ready and loaded and ready to go and sell. So that's another really hot topic for us. And we see that with relocation clients coming in. They'll say to us, we just want a turnkey home, Jill. We want to put the key in the lock, turn it, and move in. I mean, they literally do mean that. And a lot of times they did renovations on their properties from other states in order to get their property to sell. And they come here with me and they say, Jill, we don't want to do that again. We just updated our primary shower, and our bathroom. We don't want to do that again. Please find me something that already has those updates.
Sure.
And sometimes that is hard.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really interesting because you and I have had some success on different things with listings too. And it's funny because if you don't have that differentiator, or if you're not keeping it updated, or if you're not doing the things that are trending right now, otherwise it's just a race to the bottom as to who's going to drop the price the lowest for the next buyer.
Right. And we tend to have clients that don't really want to go there. You know, they'll tell me, you know, we're not in a hurry to sell. We can take our time with that. But as you and I both know, that doesn't make it easier to sell. Sitting on the market longer actually will produce less of a return for you, and you will get less of offers, you know, that come. They will negotiate more the longer your house is sitting. So yes, I agree. Yeah.
Last one, and we'll wrap it up. Any special 1 or 2 tactics that you have found successful in getting some listings sold?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing some rate buy downs on our listings, and that has really helped to show the buyer, show the agent that you can buy this home for a bought down rate, and that rate has been bought down by our sellers. So that has been very helpful. We also are putting on 3D tours on properties. We're also going back to the basics, and I'm sure a lot of these agents are doing that, going back to the basics as in doing open houses for sellers. You know, you kind of have to have a bag of magic tricks in this market. And luckily for me, I've been doing it for 25 years. So I've seen everything from 2000 all the way up to now, and I can react differently and more creatively than some may be able to do. But coaching your clients is so important always in that transaction.
Well, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
hanging out. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I'll put her info up on the screen and put it in the captions. That way you guys can reach out to Jill, 256-716-JILL, or Jill at jillheffernan.com. I got it down.
You got it perfectly.
Make sure you check her out. Fantastic agent, Keller Williams Madison, serves North Alabama. So thanks for hanging out on the channel, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.
Thank you.